All right. All right. I shouldn't really be doing anything live right now since I have an uncontrollable cough. But I'm sucking down some cough drops, and hopefully I won't cough so much if I just take it easy. But the launch of the new Ryzen CPUs yesterday, I thought I'd share some of my thoughts, take a look at my options because I do want to build a computer for my son, and I'm going to start saving up. And it might be better if I just upgrade my computer and give him my current computer. So that's what I'm going to be looking at today while I pop another cough drop in my mouth so I don't cough a million times. Oh man. All right, let's see here. So I wanted to show something funny that I noticed, and I took a screenshot of it before I left work because I thought it was pretty funny. Wanted to get it before Wizard. That's the guy who's in charge of Tech Power Up website. I want to show this before he fixed it. And that guy is like a workaholic. He never sleeps, or he's a workaholic or something. Because I've contacted him twice, and I'm pretty sure he lives in Germany. I'm on the East Coast, United States. And one time I told him about a problem with the GPU database. He fixed that in a half hour. And then another time he had um they had the NVIDIA DCH driver listed for download. Well, they had the NVIDIA standard driver for download, but it was really the DCH driver. He fixed that and the database thing, both of those in a half hour of me contacting him. So that guy is obviously a workaholic. But I didn't want to contact him about this little thing that I found because it was too funny. I wanted to share it with everybody. So, like I said, I'm exploring my options for AM5. You know, the 3D vcache CPUs were announced, and of course the non-X CPUs, which I'm more interested in than the X models. I don't want a CPU running at 90 Celsius. I don't care if it's reaching its full potential at that speed. I just don't want something running that hot. I don't want fans spinning that fast. Of course, you can make your fan curve to where it stays slow if it's fine at 90 Celsius, but I don't wanna do that. Anyway, as you can see here, these are and excuse me if you hear the cough drops in my mouth. It's better than coughing. I'm trying not to cough so much. But anyway, here are the Raphael the Raphael CPUs or the Ryzen 7000 series. Excuse me. As you can see here, the Ryzen 7 7700 is has a 8.3 gigahertz base clock, and the 7900 has a 7.3 gigahertz base clock. I don't know about you guys, but I think I want to get I want to get the 8 gig CPU with the 65 watt TDP. Of course, that's just a typo, but I thought it was really funny, and I would like to call Newegg or Amazon. I'm like, hey, where's my 8 gig 65 watt TDP 8 core processor? Anyway, this these are the CPUs that interest me the most. In fact, all these CPUs interest me except for the X models. I don't like redlined CPUs just to match or beat Intel in some stupid graph. I think that's I think that's dumb. So the non-X CPUs they fixed that. So I'd rather have a 7600 instead of 7600X. It's probably the equivalent of running the X models in eco mode to get these, but I'd rather just have the BIOS do it and stuff. Um, now So again, sorry about all the coughing, but yeah, I felt like talking about this and sharing my thoughts with the 5 or 6 people that watch my channel. See what they think in the comments. Tell me if I'm dumb or not. I mean, I know I'm dumb, but some things you'll agree with me on, and some things you won't agree with me on. So, um, this is unexpected. I didn't think they were going to do a 3D vcache of the 7950, but they did. So that's going to be coming out in February, as far as I know. So yeah, that's interesting, but that's probably going to cost so much money. But I always wanted to get a 3900 when they came out, didn't pull the trigger. Then I wanted to get a 5900 when they came out, didn't pull the trigger. I'm always having like hard times in life befalling me when I want to upgrade to these things. And then now that the 7900's out, and I want to get a desktop computer for my son, I want to upgrade again. But I'm not interested in the 7900X, but the regular 7900 and the 7900X 3D, I'm very interested in. Of course, I'm gonna wait to see the reviews because it's better to see firsthand from third-party reviewers instead of listening to AMD how good they say they are. I'd rather just see what all the YouTubers who have the CPU in hand if they say it's good. But yeah, my main interest is the 7900 and 7900 X3D because I think that this one will probably cost way too much, and I guess they're not making a non-X version of the 7950, which is fine. Interesting thing is about these X3D, uh, these 3D vcache CPUs. Let me see if I could try to explain what I think is what AMD's plan is and why the clocks are the way they are compared to the non 3D cache models. So let me see if I can find a good example. And I'm not going to be able to use these as an example, these typos right here. So let's see. The 7900, right? So surprisingly, because 3D vcache is sensitive to high thermals, as far as I know. And you can see the 7900 X3D 3D cat X3D has a lower TDP rating than the regular 7900X. But it has the same boost clock, but a lower TDP rating. But this is the same thing, and it has vcache. This should be sucking way more power, but it's not. So here's how I think. This is my opinion, and I'll see in a month when everybody gets these CPUs to see if I'm right or not. But this is the way I think they're doing it. I think so they're gonna have 12 cores. One of those compute complexes or dies, whatever they want to call it, is gonna have the vcache on it, and the other one's not gonna have the vcache on it. I don't think the cores on the die with the vcache will be hitting this boost clock. I think the cores that are sitting on the other die will reach this boost clock. So that's how they're able to say, hey, look, these boost clocks are really high, but it's got 50 watt less TDP rating than the non vcache one. So that's my opinion or my theory on how they can have the boost clock look so high on the vcache models. Another thing that I noticed is they could probably put vcache, like let's take this one for example, the 7950 X3D. So that's going to be 8 and 8, 2 dies, 8 cores. This one's also going to have vcache on only 1 die. And again, I think the cores that don't have the vcache, the 3D cache on top of it are going to be the cores that get up to 5.7. I don't think that the cores that had or the die that has the vcache on it is going to be matching the 7950X in speed, because look, even this is less TDP than that. So yeah, basically it's a little misleading here because you would think of after seeing the performance of the 5800 X3D, you'd be like, wow, if these X3D chips match these in boost clock, they're going to be super super fast. But again, these boost clocks, I don't. Those boost clocks are not going to be on the die that has the vcache. That's my theory and my opinion. I'll see if I'm right or wrong in a month. Another thing, there was another thing I noticed, a point that I wanted to make, but I can't remember. So yeah, it was the oh, that's what I was thinking. That could be another thing that they're going to do. So I think uh, I think what they're doing is these 3D Vcache models are probably gonna run neck and neck with Intel's fastest things, or even, excuse me, maybe even beat Intel in some benchmarks. But just in case, if they have to, if they want to, and let me see if I could pull up let me see if I could pull up an image of the AMD CPU roadmap. CPU roadmap. Here we go. Thanks, Tom's Hardware. All right, let's see if I can I make this bigger? Uh, where did they put that setting in Opera? I'll use the control button. Use the control button. There we go. Oh, there it is. They put it right here. All right, now I know where it is. Anyway, so this is what came out. This is where we are now. I don't know what this is. I guess it's just, well, it's probably going to be a die shrink because they're going to move it down to 4 nanometers. But if the die shrink's not enough and Intel comes out with something super fast, I wouldn't be surprised if AMD then starts putting the 3D vcache on um, both dies. So that's something that I expect to possibly happen if they have to do that. I don't know if they're gonna do that, but I do like the let me go back to here. I do like what they're doing here where they got the 3D vcache, but it's not, the TDP is not so high like the X models. I just don't like the X models for they seem like the bad version of Intel processors to me, for me, that I just want to steer away from stuff that gets or runs super hot. I don't care if AMD says it's fine and it's okay. Oh man, Weidman. Yep. Did I say that right? Weidman. Yeah, no problem, man. I do that every once in a while. There's a guy named Okichu who he does the driver updates, the Realtek UAD drivers for Asus users, and he used to do it for MSI people too. So now I just monitor those forums, and there's usually a good Samaritan there that uh, finds the latest UAD driver being offered on MSI's website. And if I can, I'll 90% of the time I want to source the drivers from an MSI server for safety reasons, of course. And if I get them from the internet somewhere else, I'm going to vet them, of course, make sure it's okay and nothing's bad. But then I don't know what happens after I uploaded the media file. That's why I always put in the description, everything you download, make sure you scan it for viruses and all that BS. But yeah, he stopped doing that for MSI people. I guess he had a fight with someone in the forum and he got mad at him, something like that. So he only does it for Asus users. So while I have the ALC 1220 audio chip and I get bored and I try the new UAD and latest UAD drivers, I test them out. And then after Mokichu's work, I kind of just rebuild the same kind of package that he's making for Asus devices, and I do the same thing with the what is it, the HXD or HDX? I'm like dyslexic. The codec specific for MSI uh, audio chips. Um, Yeah, so that's why I do that. It's just for fun, and sometimes people like trying the different drivers to see how they sound, and that's why I do that. But what I'm talking about now today is these AMD chips that came out. I had no interest in AM5. There's no value there. DDR5 cost a lot of money. The motherboards cost way too much money. I'm sure the A620 motherboards that are going to come out, the ones that should be below the B650 motherboards, they're probably going to be too trimmed as far as features. So I don't know if I'm going to be interested in anything on the B650, but B650 and up cost way too much money. Let me see what you said. I have an MSI, but I need a universal to control the speakers. Only all drivers do not add control. Your update and leave the universal driver. I don't understand that last sentence, but does the UAD driver help you? Because you should be able to, after you install that, UAD driver for audio is kind of the equivalent of DCH driver for graphics. It simplifies things for the people that publish the drivers. So to be able to, I don't think it has as much settings and features as an H. I'm not a driver expert. I don't think it has as much settings and features as an HDA driver. But if you get the latest UAD driver and then you download Realtek Audio Control from the Microsoft Store, you should be able to manipulate the important settings and everything should work right. So I hope that's the case for you. And even if I'm uploading that and one person likes it, I mean, my channel is really small, but every once in a while I have a video where somebody says, "Hey man, thanks, that helped me." So yours update and do not remove the controls. If I install from another one, right? Because the UAD updates, and I try to put this detail in every driver that I update that I upload, is they are to update existing drivers. So if you look at the command window that opens up when you run that batch file, you'll see if you have a driver that is at the same version or newer than the version from my package, it won't overwrite it. So it'll just leave what's there in place, which is great. So it'll update your existing driver. So even like on my people ask me, let me show you on the screen. Sometimes I've had people ask me, they said, "Hey, why does your audio control thing look like this? It's MSI branded and all that stuff." Because mine is UAD drivers installed on top of the HDA driver. And back in the day, the HDA driver was this big, huge file that had the drivers, but it also had, this graphical user interface and all that stuff. So now I just, there's the if you got the same driver from my last video, you're probably on this same version as me. I don't know what audio codec you have, but if you have ALC 1220 and under, and you installed the last thing, you should have 609452.1, which sounds good. And just like the last one, I only care that this works because I use it all the time. Let me see if I can find out where it is. Okay, this acoustic echo cancellation. Okay, ALC 892, and I have 5.1 speakers. Oh, you lucky guy. I'm I'm currently on two stereo speakers that was actually part of a 5.1 set that, like I said, times got hard and I couldn't keep it anymore. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. Um, 5.1. Let's see if that. Yeah, this is the 5.1 setup I used to have. Now I'm only just using two satellites, and I got them hooked up to a amplifier that I took out of a Z906. You mean Z9? Z690. Okay, you have a Z690. That's what you meant to say, right? Not Z906. Let's take a look at your for fun. Let's take a look at your motherboard. Um, you said yours was made by MSI. Look up your motherboard. I want to see what motherboard you have. Go back to Google search. No, sorry about that. And there is a delay, so if you're telling me, I'm gonna see it a little later. I just want to see MSI. Oh, a Z370 Tomahawk. Okay, let me look that up. Yeah, sure, cookies. That's a nice looking motherboard. Wow, you got a DVI-D connector on that. We're going back. I don't, I don't know if you have an APU in there to even use that, but this is ready for DVI-D and HDMI. Let's see. Specifications. ALC 892, just like you said. I wonder what driver they're offering up on this website. Let's see. Driver. And on Windows 11 and Windows 10 are going to have the same driver for audio, so let's see. Ah, look at that. Yeah, so they don't have this driver up to date on all the models. Oh, you got a 1070. Yeah, 1070. NVIDIA hates 1070s and 1080s. They made them too good. Those Pascal cards are too good. They've been trying to get people to get off 1070s, 1070 Ti's, and 1080 Ti's for a long time. And they put too much RAM on the 1080, so people are sticking to them. So I have a 2060 Super, which is comparable to your card in power. My brother has a 1070 Ti, which I think is around the same speed as the 2060 Super. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good card. Um, and I don't know if Strix was making them as good as they do now. They usually have the better coolers on them than MSI and some of the other. You know what company actually I've actually been considering? So I originally started talking about yes, and I download it only in these. It deletes my volume control in the sense of universal control. Huh. So what I was saying is trying to remember what we were just talking about. I got the COVID brain. We were talking about the motherboards. Oh, what I showed from MSI. Let me see. It deletes my volume control. Okay. You're talking about the audio control console. Maybe this. Yeah, it's usually just when I install the new audio codec, I usually have to go in here and turn this back on again because for some reason it just turns it off all the time. I guess it just does a fresh default setting for every driver. So you have to reconfigure it again, but it's fine. I use everything default except for acoustic echo cancellation, so I don't have to do too much. Um, so we were talking about that's right. We were talking about the motherboards, the new motherboards and the old motherboards. So I was talking about Strix, the Strix models that they usually, at least for video cards, they usually have higher end coolers and stuff like that. I want to show you something that I've been looking at while I'm exploring my options for, and this is a good document for you to probably bookmark, and I can throw the link in the description if you need it, if Google allows me to put the link in there. But let me go to here. So this is the yeah, no problem, man. And same thing though, if you find a codec that sounds great for you and everything works fine, you don't need to keep updating it. I just do it for fun. And some people like to try the latest driver, and sometimes people don't see the old videos and they see the new video and they install the UAD driver and then their Realtek audio control UWP app that wouldn't work before, it starts to work. So like I said, if it only helps a few people, that's good enough for me. I don't make videos to make any money. I don't have any monetization on any of my videos. It's just to help people before I kick off and die. So anyway, this is a document that I found online that has a lot of information about all the different uh, AM5 motherboards out there. And it's interesting if you know this might not this might not be all the way accurate. For example, like before you probably got on my stream, I was making a joke. Look at this is Tech Power Up, right? It's a huge website. This is their CPU database. The the Ryzen 7 7700 has a 8.3 gigahertz um, base clock. I don't think so. But anyway, so if they can make typos on a big site like this, surely this doc could have some typos on it too. But I'll just take their word for it because these guys seem to have done a good job. If this stuff's accurate, let me see. I can. I was looking at the different like where. Oh, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. So I'm looking at this list and I look at the X670s and I want to see which one of these companies, MSI, Gigabyte, ASRock, BioStars here for a laugh too, and of course the high-end Asus. If you got the Beverly Hills of motherboards and GPUs, Asus. See where they cut corners, where they skimp, and all that stuff. So one of the things I noticed about now, I'm kind of an MSI guy, but man, they piss me off sometimes. And let me go back. So these are the the B650 boards. And sorry, I have a bad cough, and I'm eating cough drops, but I might have to get I might have to get another one soon. But these most of these MSI boards, they didn't skimp on the audio. They all have good audio. They're better because they all cost over $200. But these motherboards all cost over $200, and only the ITX one, only their ITX motherboard has a 10-layer PCB. Now, I'm not Buildzoid from actual hardcore overclocking or anything like that, but I know the amount of layers in your PCB can, along with the memory topology and all that stuff, can affect your ability to run your memory at higher and faster speeds. And if you look, Gigabyte, they have a bunch of eight layer PCBs, and their Aorus Ultra is a 12. And then ASRock has nothing under 8. And then Asus, they skimped and they got some 6s. But MSI, everything except for the ITX board is 6 layers or yeah, 6 layers. And the since I like a quiet, cool running computer too, the I like to look at the ratings for the VRMs to see what the MOSFETs are rated for, and it looks like on some of the boards, ASRock did better than MSI. So I got the 105 one. Now, if you watch Buildzoid, which I like to watch because he's way smarter than me. I don't know if you ever watched that channel, Actual Hardcore Overclocking, but you should. He's way smarter than me, and I just find it interesting, his knowledge and stuff like that. I don't watch the videos with GPU news because there is no GPU news. There's no good value out there. It's all old news. Everyone knows the benchmarks and everyone knows the prices. So everyone's just like they're just trying to get views with all these GPU videos and stuff. But I do like to see what Buildzoid has to say, and he'll openly say that these VRMs are overbuilt. But you know what? Everything we buy is overpriced, so I'm not complaining if I buy something and the VRM is more than I need. That's fine. So my, the area around my CPU socket will run a little cooler. It'll generate less heat in my case. My CPU cooler could probably run a few less RPMs. My GPU probably doesn't have to spin up as much. That all works for me. So I don't care about, of course, I got to check the price and make sure it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. But yeah, this is very convenient. It'll show you the ratings for the VRM MOSFETs. It will show you the real phases, not what they put on the on the sites for the motherboards. They'll show you the actual power phases. Hopefully these are accurate. You know, it'll say like 24 on the website, but it's really like 12 doubled. So I'm not gonna try to pretend I'm an expert on VRMs either. But like I said, after watching a lot of Buildzoid, I've determined they're kind of puffing or they're kind of misleading with the power phases to the CPU. Yeah, there you got your. Let me see. Let's just go through everything. It tells you the price, and the nice thing is, like for example, sometimes the prices are. It's fun to find out they're wrong. Like I find this motherboard. I like this motherboard. I like what it has on it, and if you look at the B650 Tai Chi, I couldn't find it on Amazon, but it's on Newegg, and it's like $100 less than it is here. So that's good to know. But that is like one of the higher prices for B650. But like if I wanted to get like an overbuilt motherboard and not go to X670, this is an option. That's why I like that they put this together. It's very convenient. You could compare the Asus boards, ASRock, Gigabyte. It's just personal preference. I would never buy anything from Gigabyte. I don't. I for reasons. I also don't like ASRock because of some experiences my brother had, but they got a lot of good reviews, and I gotta admit, their Taichi 7900 XTX card, as long as it doesn't have that defective vapor chamber on it, that's making the what is it, the reference cards get recalled. As long as it has like a your regular run-of-the-mill heatsink on it and stuff, I'm interested in that card if the price ain't so high. I mean, I know Nvidia's overall better, but you're gonna pay an arm and a leg to get a 4080 or something or anything 16 gigs of RAM or higher for NVIDIA GPU, but for AMD, I mean, I wouldn't want to get a 7900 XT because it's a waste of money compared to the XTX. But the XTX has 24 gigs of RAM. That's nothing to sneeze at. So I'm not gonna, I'm not, what do you call it? I'm not like only in NVIDIA's camp. I will entertain. My brother has a 6700 XT, and it works awesome for him. So, and I don't really care about ray tracing. I play old games. I would just like to have the extra GPU power and extra cores and extra CPU power. Like if I'm like uh, putting a video together, exporting a video from some software, it'll be faster. And I'm an enthusiast. We just like it's our hobby, right? It doesn't matter. It's like guys they pimp out their cars. It's okay to pimp out your computers, even if you're not using it for what the hardware was intended for. You can only buy 16 core CPU if you are a content creator. No, you can be a gamer and get a 16 core if you want to. Maybe a waste, yes, you could get a 7600X and do the same thing, but that's not my point. My point is it's also a hobby, so just get what you want. What makes you happy? What makes you happy to look at it when it's sitting there on your desk in the case? Um, so yeah, these X670s, they just cost too much. It's ridiculous. And another thing is, I was exploring because I wasn't too well educated on ZEN4 and the RAM relationship to the Infinity Fabric. So I had to brush up on that and do some reading because I wanted to know what was going on with that. Because I know in Zen 2 and I think Zen 3, your you wanted to run the F clock, the U clock, and the M clock uh, in sync with each other. And I think now you don't have to worry about that. You just set the Infinity Fabric clock to auto, let it run at 2 gigs, and then you just overclock your memory as far as the memory controller, and the memory will let you go. As far as I know, I don't know if you'll start having crashes or it will try to change a ratio before that happens. I don't know what the behavior is when you're trying to do that, but I know that if you want to get a lot of RAM in your system and run it at 6,000 megahertz, or let me correct myself, 6,000 megatransfers per second. If you want to run at 6,000 DDR 6,000 and you want to have a lot of RAM, you're better off getting 32 gigabyte DIMMs instead of 16s, because it puts a lot of strain. Just in a little research I did, it puts a lot of strain on the memory controller when you have more than one DIMM on a memory channel. So yeah, if you have all 4 DIMM slots populated, you're not going to you're not going to be able to overclock that memory. You might not even be able to hit some of the XMP profiles. I think a lot of the XMP profiles that those companies advertise with the 2 DIMM kits, they're just for that, just for 2 DIMM kits. You can't buy 2 DIMM kits and then fill all 4 slots and expect to hit that same speed. You're not gonna pull that off unless you unless you got some real knowledge like Buildzoid and knows exactly what motherboard to get that can do that, what memory to what, like B-die memory and all that stuff, and what ranks to get and all that nonsense. Just I might do it the easy way. If I want to go a lot of RAM, just get 232 gigabyte sticks. I mean, yeah, 230 gigabit sticks. Um, 230 gigabyte sticks, and yeah, just fill 2 slots. I mean, or fill 4 slots and run it at 5400. I don't know. Or fill 4 slots and run it as fast as it'll let me run. I'm not an overclocker anymore. I stopped doing that a long time ago. I'm all for stability. I don't care about overclocking and stuff like that. That's why I had no interest in these before you came on. These, I'm curious to know if you're still watching. Uh, Weedsman. If you're still watching, did you have any interest in these Zen 4 chips, the X models that run at 90 Celsius? I don't like them. I don't like these the initial Zen 4 CPUs that came out. I don't want something that runs hard like that. I mean, if they didn't come out with the non-X versions, I would definitely get an X version and run in eco mode. I was even entertaining the thought of looking at what Intel has, and like Intel, just like Nvidia is trying to do to me now, Intel lost me a long time ago, and I used AMD even before Core 2 Duo came out, which that made me leave AMD. But before Core 2 Duo came out, I used AMD, and AMD's always been rock solid for me. Before my current computer, before my current Zen Plus Ryzen computer, I had X58 chipset Intel, and I had problems with it. So I'd like to stay in the AMD ecosystem if I can, but AMD's got to keep offering better value than Intel if I'm going to do that. I have Intel, so I don't know too much about AMD. Only I know about AMD temperatures. Yeah, which depending on the chip that you have from Intel, could be high or it could be low. But AMD, they wanted so bad to have these X models um, beat or at least match Intel in some of the benchmarks, like when they were being reviewed. That I think they pushed them too hard. I'm like, really? You're gonna tell everybody 90 Celsius is okay just so you can be first place in some graph? To me, that's dumb. I'm not about being first place in a graph anymore. I want to sit next to a computer that I don't hear unless it's being pushed to its absolute limit. Like right now, I'm streaming right now. I got two monitors on. I'm not doing anything uh, too crazy. My GPU is sitting at 60 Celsius, which means the fans aren't spinning. My CPU is sitting at 40 Celsius, so none of my case fans have sped up. It's totally silent in here, and that's the way I like it. Yes, it is an excellent thing that they're making new processors, and I like having options. I'm actually interested in AM5 now. That's why I'm looking at it, because when the X models came out, I had no interest at all. I was like, I don't want one of these overpriced things. I'm gonna get one of these super expensive motherboards, and I'm gonna pop one of these CPUs in it, and it's gonna be oh, you got three monitors. See, I'm poor. Um, I have two 1080 monitors. You probably at least one of them's 144 hertz refresh rates, but you probably got 1440s, right? You probably got some 2K monitors. Show off. I only got a 24-inch, and I'm using a TV as my second monitor. It's just like I can't afford to buy new stuff. I gotta save up. But you got what are your monitors? 1080s? You got it like 27-inch for your main one or anything like that? I am interested in because it would be convenient because I could work at home sometimes. I want one of my next monitors to have one of those integrated docks, the USB-C connection on the monitor. I want to get one of those. I hope somebody makes a good one. I know Gigabyte made one of them, and a guy I know he bought it, and it had a lot of backlight bleed, and it drove him crazy. So he returned it for an Acer Predator monitor, and he loves it. He returned the Acer Predator monitor too because the the R was missing on Predator at the bottom of the screen. He returned a monitor. Oh no, they sent yeah they sent them a monitor with the R on it. I said, wait, they didn't just send you a little R to put on there? They sent you a whole monitor? He's like, yeah, they sent me a whole monitor. I was like, that's some OCD. I respect that. Let me drink some water. Yeah, this is how my channel goes, man. I usually have I think the most people I've ever had watching me live stream at the same time was like 8, and they don't stay long because they're like, this guy's coughing, he's sick, he's boring. They don't hang around. But there are a bunch of European guys that cheer me on, and they want me to get healthy, and they watch my channel. And around this time, they're all sleeping. So, but they're a good group of people. They're from the Mike's Unboxing, um, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To YouTube channel, which I'm subscribed to. He's a good guy. Two monitors, LQ Ultra Gear 27 GP850, 27-inch. Yet, yeah, those are excellent. You got two of those, and one 27 at 144 hertz, and the 27. Oh, it's a 2K. Yeah, man, that's yeah. I would love to have even 127 with a 1440, just so I can have more real estate. But since I got sick, I'm farsighted now, so super things that are super close up a little bit harder for me to see. But I probably would notice it. Um, like I'm old, right? So I used to be on 4x3 CRT monitors, and we used to do 1024 by 768, or if you were lucky, 1600 by 1200. And when the 1080 monitors came out on the 16 by 9s, I was like, yeah, this does look good. Does look like an improvement. Yeah, I bet they are. I bet they are. And I think I think you're fine at 100. I've never used this 165 hertz refresh rate monitor, but I have 144 hertz. And once I saw it, I can never go back to 60 hertz. I just feel like the monitors that they're selling now that are over 165 hertz refresh rates, I think it's all just marketing. I mean, how fast a response time do you need, or refresh rate rather, do you need for your monitor more than 165? It's just like it's crazy. Didn't they just come out with a monitor that's over 400, or might have been even over 500? Let me see if they have it on the front page. Let me refresh this because I've just been sitting on this site for a while. See, like all these 4070 Ti's, I don't watch videos about. I don't care. $900 for one of these, it's just a joke. Nvidia's a joke. 144 hertz or 165 hertz is fine. I use 144. Oh, you use 144 on all three, even on the 165 monitors? Because that sounds like something I would do. Just match them all up. Make it easier for your video card. And I'm assuming you probably have, since you got good monitors, new cards for 10K is a massacre. But what was I going to say? The monitors that you have are probably have some kind of adaptive sync technology, right? Do they have like G-Sync or FreeSync abilities? Because I've never used a monitor with that, and I'm afraid to. Like stuff like HDR and FreeSync and G-Sync that I've never used before. I'm afraid that the same thing's going to happen when I went from 60 hertz to 144. Um, the old stuff's going to look so bad and ugly to me that I'm not going to be able to go back. I'm going to be poisoned. Like my one friend's telling me, "Oh, my HDR monitor's amazing." I'm like, "You could tell the difference?" He's like, "Oh yeah, the colors, it's just pops. It looks so different." I'm like, "All right, shut up. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to buy." But I'll probably walk into a store one day and I'll see one of them and I'm like, "Wow, that does look good." I have one monitor via HDMI, which limits me how I want to use for surround for games. Okay. Okay, yeah. I think some HDMI, even it's either the monitor or the video card or the cable. They all have to meet minimum spec to get you. Yeah, I guess yeah. There's some HDMI connections. They'll just do 60 hertz, right? Or 120. It's the same deal. Like what was it before I had my DisplayPort cable? I can only do 144 hertz on a dual link DVI. So once I got my DisplayPort cable, I was like, yeah, I don't have to worry about that. So I was using a dual link DVI cable because I couldn't get my HDMI to do the high refresh rate. So it was probably HDMI version or something on the card or on the monitor. I don't remember. I don't care anymore because I got the DisplayPort and I do 144 now, so I don't have to worry about it. Let me see. I was looking for to see if they had one of those crazy monitors on for sale on here that had the ridiculous refresh rate. That's what I was looking for. In the sense of surround to play 3 games on 3 monitors. Oh, do you have um that's crazy. That's almost like an Ifinity setup for AMD. The are your monitors, do they have like very thin bezels? Put them side by side with very thin bezels? Yes, HDMI does not work with DisplayPort for surround. I only have 2 HDMI and 2 DisplayPorts and graphics card. Okay. Oh, yours has 2 DisplayPorts. I think mine has only one and 3 HDMIs, but I got a weird 27, a weird 2060 Super that requires a USB-C driver, or else device manager will start bitching that I don't have the driver in. But there's no USB-C port on my MSI Armor 2060 Super, so thanks for that, MSI. I don't know why that's like that, unless the USB-C controller is integrated on the GPU somehow. Why would they put it on a board with no connector? I don't know. But they work in surround and you can play games. Cool. Now, do you understand what I mean when I ask if your monitors have very skinny bezels, like the plastic border around your display? Is it real thin? Because that would bother some people. It doesn't really bother me that bad, but if I was using it on 3 monitors, it would a little bit, a little break in the action, a little dead spot, a little A-pillar effect in your car. All right, let me see what they got here. Because I could have swore I was looking at these the other day and I saw one monitor that had an insane refresh rate, and I was like, what? Why? See if I can find it. A new driver that I don't need. There is no such thing without black bars or something. Yeah, I mean, there are supposed to be some monitors that have little to no bezel. I have a monitor at work that has a really, really, really slim bezel. It's almost not there, but I think there are some monitors now that there is no bezel bordering the actual display. I could be wrong, but I could have swore I've seen one. Let me see here. This is another contradicting thing right here. So it says right here, MSI releases socket AM5 motherboard BIOS updates to support upcoming processors, right? And then down here somewhere where it talks about the non-X processors, it says the 3 chips are drop-in compatible with existing socket AM5 motherboards without needing any BIOS update. That contradicts what MSI is. Is MSI just trying to look like the bringers of goodwill? So according to this, the AGESA code and from the last BIOS updates should have the non-X CPU's support baked in already. I don't know. That's just a contradicting statement. I remember when I was reading these news blurbs, I'm like, wait, you could drop them in without a BIOS update, but MSI's making BIOS updates for the non-X chips. But the whole screen is detected by games without black bars or others in American Truck Simulator, and it works great. Oh, okay, I understand what you mean. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you see the bezels on the monitors, but when you have them side by side, you're not losing any pixels. I get what you mean. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Let me see if I can find this freaky monitor with the high refresh rate. That's a pretty looking card. Too bad it's bad valued a bad valued Nvidia card. And I don't know that these 16 pin connectors bother me. I hate that the power delivery is higher and all the all the conductors are smaller. It just makes no sense. It's like you're gonna run more power. Why don't you get a smaller gauge cable too? I will be the new silent spectator and subscriber. Thanks. Yeah, I never tell people at the end of any of my videos to like and subscribe like everybody does on their videos because really you shouldn't like and subscribe to my channel. It's just a channel to help people with little goofy things that I run into, and if I found a solution for it, I'll share it with people. But otherwise, I don't really have any entertaining or good content. I mean, I've been sick most of the time I had the YouTube channel. That's why I made the YouTube channel because I was about to meet my maker. So I was like, let me have some fun before I die. But I'm doing better than I was, so I'll just keep it going. Let me see. But definitely, I'm part of the Mike's unboxing community. He's a real YouTuber, and I don't watch his channel because not just because he reviews cases, affordable computer parts, affordable computer solutions. Um, I watch him because he's kind of like us, where he likes the hardware and he likes the hobby and he likes the practical use of it as well. But he's practical and he understands value. Like I feel like when you watch all the top YouTubers, like for example, right? I love this website, Tech Power Up, and I like the guy who runs it, Wizard. Like I was saying before you came on, Wizard corrects problems. I've emailed him about problems with the website, and he fixes them inside a half hour. He's crazy. But like for example, let me pick one of these random 4070 Ti reviews. All right, let's go to Supremex. Go to Supremex, right? Let's go to the conclusion page. Now, this thing's a terrible value. Now, he might just be putting this here because of its technical merit, because it is a good piece of hardware, but it's a terrible value. So why is it an editor's choice? I wish they would stop doing that. It shouldn't be. If you're getting one free, then it should be an editor's choice, but they're not giving them out for free. They cost way too much than they should cost. Yeah, Tech Power Up is just website that I like because it has useful stuff like oh, I forgot to go check for that monitor. Let me check for that monitor again. Um, oh, before I do that, I want to do something. You just made me think of something. Oh yeah, one of the things I like about Tech Power Up, and they just added a new database. They have a GPU database that is very useful when you want to look up. Of, so, for example, like if you ran this software from them, GPU-Z, um, I'll show you what GPU-Z looks like if you've never used it before. So this is software from Tech Power Up. So this is GPU-Z. They make this software, and it tells you all the specs for your video card. It'll tell you everything you need to know about your 1070 that you were talking about before. And if you click here, if the link to the database based on the hardware ID of your video card, if they have it configured right, and they didn't have my card configured right, but like I said, Wizard fixed it in like a half hour. You press this lookup button, and it'll open up a link to your to their database. So I'm this is my browser of choice, Firefox, and it'll open up in your default browser. So it goes right to my video card. So the same thing, if you click on that lookup button on GPU-Z, it'll go right to your video card, so you can see it and compare it to other 1070 models to see where you stand. Another useful thing about the site is, besides them making GPU-Z, they got the CPU database, of course, that I'm looking at to nitpick the Zen4 chips, right? Because I'm interested in these X3D parts and I'm interested in the non-X parts. Because I think they're going to be. I don't want something with that gets so hot. I just don't. I'm not interested in that stuff. Like I said, if I bought one of the X, like if I bought a 7900X, I'm definitely eco moding that. I don't want 90. I don't care what AMD says. I don't care what any company say. I care what I think. But another thing good about their site is the GPU database, the CPU database, and they recently added this like a couple of weeks ago, SSD database. So I'm sure this will become useful. And another reason that this will become useful is because I don't know who's responsible for blowing the whistle on this, but if you didn't know, there are some manufacturers of I use NVIDIA Experience to update the card. Okay, yeah, I usually just go to NVIDIA's site to update my drivers, or I just go here. They always have the latest GPU drivers for uh, NVIDIA DCH drivers. They stopped doing the standard driver, and the Radeon Adrenalines. Are they still called Adrenalines? Yeah, I think so. And of course now Intel. But yeah, they also have a SSD database, and I was going to say, a lot of companies got caught releasing SSDs, and the SSD would have, I think, a controller like a fast NAND controller on it, and it would have SD-RAM on it, and they'd get their reviews out, and it would have stellar reviews, and then after they got all the reviews and the good, they would start selling another SSD with the same product name as the one that got all the good reviews, but they'll put a different slower controller on it, maybe no SD-RAM or stuff like that. And I think that's just terrible. In NVIDIA Experience, as soon as an update comes out, I can download it and update it right away. Yeah, so as long as you have manual controllers, because sometimes there's a driver that comes out, and I wish this is why I hate auto updates from Windows. I don't want it. I don't want it until everybody has vetted it and make sure there's no like major problems with it. So, but yeah, it's like, look, um, this where is it? This NVIDIA driver just came out, so I'm two driver versions behind this one. I got the change log in here. Let's go to change log, and just looking at the fixed issues. None of that stuff matters for me, so I don't need to update to that driver. So I mill through this every once in a while and see if it fixes something that's important to me. A lot of it's for their latest cards. NVIDIA's just ironing out issues with their latest cards to keep all the people happy, so they don't try to return them or anything like that. But every once in a while, they'll come out with a winner. They came out with, I think a month or two ago, they came out with a driver that had like a 10% performance boost across the board for particularly Ampere cards. So that was nice of them. Usually it's AMD cards that uh, get all the perks with the drivers as time passes. But hey, looks like Nvidia's following suit with that. Yes, sometimes they don't improve much, but sometimes they improve performance. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and not just improve performance. Sometimes they solve issues. I remember back in the olden days. I'm gonna show my age here. I had I even forget what code, what NVIDIA card was that? I had a FX 5900. Was that a Fermi? Let me see. Actually, I could use the GPU database. Let's see. GPU database. I had an FX 5900 FX 5900, something like this. Was this a Fermi or was this something else? Architecture. Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell, but I had one of these, and there was like some kind of uh, bad rendering text on the screen. It looked all messed up, and I got a beta driver and it fixed all that stuff. So that was handy. You ever seen any of these? The I like the purple one better, but that's only for Intel. They put the ugly orange one for AMD, and all the Intel people get the nice purple one. I like the purple one better. Let me go back to this thing right here and see which one of these. No, these are all too expensive. Like these the X670s for MSI, they're too expensive. I mean, they're good, but I don't know. I feel like I'm willing to, for my next computer, I would only usually look at just ASUS and MSI, but I think ASRock's back on the list to get a chance. So ASUS, ASRock, and MSI, I'll consider all three of them. And I'll still not brave enough to consider Gigabyte. Currently, I do not have a power supply on RTX, nor does the board support the connector for the 4.0 X16 standard. I have 3.0, 16, and I have an 8 gigabyte card. I would rather not buy weaker one to only RTX. Yeah, I mean, I have a 2060 Super, which it's light on RT cores and tensor cores, but there are a few perks that come with that though, not just ray tracing, like hardware support for like the AI noise cancellation and all that stuff, which I don't really need because I use the analog acoustic echo cancellation that the Realtek chip does. But I've tested it. If you ever seen Barnacle Nerdgasm's video where he's got the leaf blower blowing and he's running he has the NVIDIA broadcast software using the RT cores or the tensor cores, the AI cores, whichever one they are, to block out the sound that's not his voice. It's pretty cool. So I tested that feature, of course, and it works really, really well. But I don't really need it, but it's good to know that I have it if I need it. But yeah, you don't need. I mean, a 1070 is a good card. What's you said before you had a Z690 board? Because I know you said you had a Z3070. I think you said. You said yeah, Z370 Tomahawk, and you also said you had a Z906, but I think you meant Z690. I think. Is that your only computer, or you only had what was this up here where you said I'm trying to make sense of this. You said I have a Z906 906. Maybe Z690. I thought you had. I was. Is Z690 even a chipset? Let me see. I'm so out of touch with Intel. But I think that. Let me see. Z690 chipset. Yeah, that's a thing. So maybe maybe you have another computer that has that. Assembling PC at the end of 2018. So only RTX come out then. Yeah, I built my computer at the end of 2018 or the beginning of 2018 as well. And I originally had a Pascal card like you, but it was a wimpy. No, I didn't even have a Pascal card. I had a 960, and then I upgraded to a 1660 Ti, and then I upgraded again to a 2060 Super because I wanted to get something with over 2,000 shaders and 8 gigs of RAM. I just wanted to have something a little bit more oomph. And the bonus was RT cores, and it was before before the video card prices went crazy. But yeah, I want to build a computer for my son to use. So I'm like, do I build a cheap computer for him or should I upgrade mine? I don't know. I mean, I'm working right now, so start saving up. And now if I wait, maybe this will be better. So what could be better about the new? And I know you're an Intel guy, but I'm just from the AMD guy's perspective. This Zen 4C, I wonder if that's just going to be a die shrink, or if to answer back on Intel, if they put the 3D vcache on both compute complexes or dies, whatever you want to call it, or if the memory controllers are even more buff on it, or it has a faster Infinity Fabric or something, so you can run faster DDR5 memory. I don't know. I just curious of if this is going to be a big jump. I don't expect it to be a big jump, but the longer you wait, the next thing you get, the better. But only live once in your life, so you can't wait forever. And I have a Ryzen 2600 for a long time now, so I just need a more VRAM card to play games. Oh yeah, oh that's right. You're playing on 3 monitors. Yeah, you could definitely use a chunk of RAM. Yeah, but you know what? If you have 24 gigs of RAM, are you referring to GDDR6X for NVIDIA, and AMD does not have access to that? I don't know if that matters too much. The performance numbers uh, that you see on the websites that test that stuff, in the end, that's probably the most important, right? That stuff's important. Like the how big's the memory buffer on the video card? How big's the the memory bus bandwidth on the memory interface? 192, 256, all that stuff. It all matters. But in the end, the performance is what matters and stuff. But like you said, sometimes it doesn't show when you need a lot of RAMs. Like that's why I don't like these. Man, like 3080, people paying all this money for 3080s and they only had 10 gigs of RAM, and 3070 Ti's with 8 gigs of RAM. Get out of here. I'm never gonna buy a video card. My next video card's gonna have 12 gigabytes of RAM minimum, and I'm thinking of having minimum 16. I don't even want to go under 16. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, if you want to use higher resolutions and higher quality settings, you probably. I'm no expert because I play mainly old games. I'm not a real heavy gamer. I play just a few games uh, that look fine on 1080, and I don't really need the added power. But yeah, people who are gaming for real, like beyond what I do, they need it. This is how you have to look at it when something is put together. Too high details. Yeah, yeah, and you also don't want to mix. Like if I don't want to have too many bottlenecks. Like if I buy let's say I buy a AM5 motherboard and I put a Zen 4 chip in it. I don't want to put my 2060 Super in there with it. I'm gonna want a video card that's up to this is how much I've researched into it. I'm not even sure if AM5 does PCI Express 5.0 or PCI Express 4.0. I'm assuming it does 5.0 because they have the Gen 5 SSD and NVMe SSD, so I'm pretty sure it's 5. But you stick an old card in there, you're not going to make any use of that stuff. So yeah, and it would be fun, man. If I built my next computer, I'd want to have a strong GPU, a strong CPU. I don't care too much about the SSD because really, once you get it's the NAND that's fast. Once you leave mechanical drives and you go to solid state memory, it's fast. And then you go to NVMe and you have your solid state memory on the PCI Express bus. It's even faster. So yeah, Gen 3 and then Gen 4 is faster than Gen 3 and then Gen 5 is faster than Gen 4. But really, aren't they all? If you're not doing something like moving huge files around all the time, they're all fast enough. So I'm not a big file swapper, so I don't need um, anything crazy on the SSD front. And I don't even use mechanical drives anymore. They just, I don't even want to deal with them. I don't care about how many terabytes or how much space they have on it. I just get a big fat SSD. I'd rather get a 2.5-inch SSD than that has only a few terabytes than one of those massive 8 tera. I don't want a big power suckling platter spinning mechanical drive in my computer ever again. I don't even use an optical drive hardly ever. I have an external optical drive I can hook up as with USB as needed, but I hardly ever use it. And if you told me that back in the old days, man, you're never gonna use your optical drive, I'd be like, yeah, right. But times have changed. But it works so you have to look at it, but it works so far with the i5 8600. 8600. That is 8600K. That's KB Lake, right? Let me see. If I'm not mistaken, that's KB Lake because I was about to get a Skylake, but I wanted to delete it because I wanted it to run cool. But then KB Lake came out. I was like, well, I don't care about Skylake anymore. I want a KB Lake. Let me look up your CPU database. Let's go to you say 8600K. 6 cores, 14 nanometers. Yeah, yeah. Uh, code name, code name, code name. Oh, this is a Coffee Lake. So this must have came out after KB Lake, right? I'm trying to remember. Do I get the right chip? Is this yours? The i5 8600? This should be it. Yeah, so I was wrong. It's not a KB Lake. It is a Coffee Lake according to this. But yeah, this thing's probably plenty fast. Look at that. Yeah, that now your frequency, your boost frequency is I mean, I'm pretty sure my Zen Plus processor came out after this. Does this have a release date on it? Let me see. Oh yeah, look. My chip came out after this and Intel's always been at least back in that time, they were always faster uh in free core frequency. My This is my base frequency on my chip, which is newer than yours, but my boost clock only goes up to 3.9. I didn't bother overclocking. I don't care. This is what I chose for games. 6 cores runs nicely. I had 4 cores and it was more expensive. Yeah, I have a 6 core processor too, and it's plenty. I'm really just gonna spoil myself, and I want to get something with at least 12 cores. I'm not interested in 8 cores. I want something with like. That's why I like the 5900s, and I like that 5900 with the 3D cache. I want to get something with like 12 cores, or who knows, man, even 16 cores. But also, I don't trust AI all-in-one coolers. I don't want to have problems with it. Like a few years down the road, I like air coolers, so I don't want to get something that's too hot where my air cooler won't be able to handle it. Do you have an all-in-one liquid cooler on your CPU, or are you using air cooling? The processor calmly pushes even more. I don't have it overclocked enough for me. Oh, you overclocked it? Yeah, I don't even bother overclocking anymore. They got the boost clocks now. I just want efficiency. If I'm not using it, I don't want all core overclocks that are always running now. I just want my computer to run super SIP power until I need it. And of course, it's not going to be as fast as a computer that's manually overclocked, which I used to do, like back in the Venice core days for AMD 64. But I don't have to do it anymore. As soon as I saw they have boost clocks now and all that stuff, I want to just let it do its thing. Uh, you overclocked it. You said so. You getting how far beyond this boost clock are you getting? How far beyond 4.3 are you getting on your overclock? It's too bad we got to talk like this. It would have been nice if I had you on the stream and I was voice chatting with you. But I don't know if you have a strong accent. I don't know if you're from the United States or from somewhere else. Not many people from the United States watch my videos. A lot of people from other countries do. Like I said, there's like a lot of European. Oh, 4.9. That's pretty good. That's good, man. You got a 600 megahertz boost out of that. So is that when you say you got it 4.9, is that one core hitting that, or you have all your cores hitting that? For that CPU back in the day, it's probably just one, right? I feel like that'd be a stretch to have all six of the cores running that fast, but who knows? If you have a good cooler or not, I don't know. Then you have to worry about the silicone too. I mean, was it 14 nanometers this says? What does this say? Was the, yeah, 14 nanometer process size. On all six cores. Wow. Yeah, man, I could see why you're in. I mean, to be honest, your computer probably kills mine in performance, but even my six core here, it it's fine. I don't need to upgrade. I don't. But like I said, I want to build a computer for my son, and it just makes no sense for me to build some new computer that's using so-so parts and give it to him when I could just give him my current computer that I built with love and care. I'll give him my old computer, and then I'll build my new AM5 computer. If I can make sense of AM5 value in this ridiculous video card environment that we have right now, because I don't want to get robbed. But I can't wait forever. I mean, like I said, you only live once. My card's getting old. I want to get a new card too. I gotta start saving up for all kinds of stuff, man. Don't want to save, and then die. It works stably. Only 2K 1440 is enough for me. Most games run above. Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need. It's like I said, for me, it's not even for the extra gaming. It's for like if I'm exporting a video. If I have a 12 core that boosts to over 5 gigs, it's going to be a lot faster than my 6 core that has way lower IPC and doesn't even crack 4 gigs for boost clock. So it's going to be from going from Zen Plus to Zen 4 is a huge jump because I'm skipping Zen 2 and I'm skipping Zen 3. It would be like if somebody like you got a 1070. Imagine imagine you just bought a 6900 XT from AMD, or you bought a I don't know what's an Nvidia card that's not a complete ripoff. They're all complete ripoffs. Oh hell, let's just say you just got a 3090 or something. Like the jump would be like ridiculous. For new graphics, I have to replace motherboard to have 4.0 by 16. Yeah, I don't know if the latest Intel chipsets do PCI Express 5.0, but I could look at this. I could look at this. What's this thing? this chart right here, does this say what PCI Express is supported on the, I thought it was PCI Express 5.0 for AMD, for AM5. I wish you were able to update to new processor. Actually, I'm on a B450 motherboard and I can. So here's the reasons why it would be good for me to do. I've weighed the pros and the cons. So if I flashed my BIOS to support a 3000 series CPU or a 5000 series CPU, I could pop that in there right off the bat. On AM4, I have a faster computer because my CPU is much faster. Then I have a more modern memory controller, which means I could probably, because it's B450, I won't be able to push it much more higher, but I could probably run RAM at 3400 megahertz instead of 3200 megahertz. But I'm not going to put more money into RAM on AM4, so it doesn't, I don't want to do that. And also, I don't want to put a more buff processor in here because, I mean, I do have one of the better B450 boards, but I don't think the VRMs are up to snuff for the latest. And I don't, if I get a CPU that has more than 6 cores, I don't want to. I'd want to have like B550 and up type VRM, something strong. I don't want my computer working too hard and building up heat. So yeah, B450 is good if I wanted to just. You can always buy RAM. I bought mine for half the price of RAM and it works perfectly. Oh, you got some RAM on sale? That's cool. That's always a plus. At least finally all the AM5 people and well, I guess I don't know. I don't know anybody well, I know one person who has an X570, but B550 people in X570 we were all using XMP profiles to automate overclocking our RAM, but now we have our own thing, Expo. But we were robbing all that Intel stuff. My motherboard only has XMP, and I'm like, I thought that was, I didn't know, I thought that was for all of the above, but apparently that's Intel's thing, but it works. Yeah, the AMD BIOS is a GSO, whatever, tries to mimic uh, whatever the XMP profile is and kind of emulate it on my board, and it works. Just turn on XMP profile 2 and it works fine. Yep, that's what I'm running, 3200 megahertz XMP. I haven't manually set the cache latencies on my memory since, I'm going to say, DDR and DDR2. And I didn't mess with it on DDR3 because that's when I had the X58 Intel computer, and that computer just sucked. I was like turning off cores and turning off hyperthreading because it got so hot. It's ridiculous. Um, that's another thing I like about AMD. I don't know if it's yeah, DDR4. I don't know if it's still a thing, but when I t- like this is gonna sound dumb because it's probably not the case anymore. But back in the day, there was a bad thermal penalty when you ran hyperthreading on Intel processors, for me at least. So it could have been something that I was doing. But then uh, when I got my first Ryzen processor, this 2600, I said, this thing runs cool enough as it is. I said, I wonder if it'll even run cooler if I disable SMT, which is hyperthreading's equivalent for AMD. So I disabled SMT, and no, everything stayed the same. There's like no downside to running SMT on AMD. I guess that's why no one worries about it. But no one worries about hyperthreading on Intel either. But I know people had problems when they got Windows 11. There was problems with people who had the newer Intel processors that have the efficiency cores, and I guess the I don't know, processor affinity or something like that would be wrong, and it would use the efficiency cord when it should. I keep saying cord, the efficiency core when it should have been using your conventional x86 core. But I think they got that all straightened out, and I think all the Intel people are happy now. My first processor, Core 2 Duo 1.8, Man, those were awesome when they came out. 1.8, that sounds low. I thought they were faster than that. Let me look up the Core 2 Duos. Because I remember the 8400 came out, Core 2 Duo, and I'm pretty sure that thing hit 3 gigs. But I could be wrong. Let me see. GPU database. CPU database. What would that be called? Code name? Core 2 Duo? Or Core 2 rather? Or was it Conroe? I think the Core 2, the core processor were Conroes. Let me see. Was it Socket 7? Was it? Yeah, Core 2 Duos. Yeah, they were Conroes. One of these is yours, right? You said, let me see what you said. 1.8, 1.8 gig. So it's got to be one of these top two. This was your first processor, one of these. I wonder which one it was. What's the difference? 6320. One just has 6 extra megahertz. What? 2 cores. You had the poorer one. They're both just about the same. Sorry about the coughing. Let me get another cough drop. I'll be wrapping this up soon so I don't bore you all night. Let me get a cough drop. I'll be right back. I need a cough drop. All right, I got my cough drop. That's better. So hopefully I won't cough in your ear too much. So what country are you from? I'm from the United States. Just curious, if you don't mind me asking. Oh, cool. Are you guys on the border with Russia? Let's see. Google Maps. Oh no, you got a little bit of a buffer there. Yeah. Okay. Nice. I am originally from this area right here. This is where I come from, right around there. Across the ocean. So, let me see if there's any more things I want to look at. Uh, I'll stop boring you. So I looked at those CPUs. Oh, I want to see the purple one. So this is the orange one. This is the this is the B650. They give the ugly orange one to the AMD people, and I think for the how I go, I want to go back to ASRock's main site. I want to see the purple. I was thinking about getting this for my son. Yeah, yeah. But this Sonic the Hedgehog motherboard is cute. I was thinking about getting that for my son, but man, they have why didn't they put a good audio codec on it? That annoys me. Like, let me see if I'm gonna click on this thing. And where's the specs for this guy? Do they have specs for this guy? And this is on the back. You can't see it. I wish I was that son. Oh man. Yeah, my son's 9. Um, I'd like to. I mean, I brought him to the movies to see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and I don't know. So I was not like a big Sonic the Hedgehog fan growing up, but now I'm kind of partial to it because it reminds me of bringing my son to the movies before I put on my PC hardware, steering wheels, etc. Oh man, you're heavy into racing. That's cool. Specification. Is this for this? Yeah, here we go. I'll show you what I didn't like when I looked this up. Uh, yeah, here. Now I think that's the same audio codec I think you said you had, but I'm like, come on, man. I don't want to go back and I like the way my 1220 sounds. I want to have that or better. And I'm not even an audiophile. I'm not one of those people that like, I need a I need not onboard sound. I need a dedicated sound card or I need a DAC or all that stuff. This sounds fine for me, man. But I don't know. That kind of annoys me a little bit. Yep, ALC 892, and this is ALC 897. Probably almost the same thing. It doesn't matter. I think my brother had on one of his uh, previous motherboards had something there, and it also supported AEC with acoustic echo cancellation. That's like what I care about the most. Like I'm talking to you on like a headset right now, but I can if I wanted to uh, talk to you on my open mic and walk around, and I could play music out of my computer and you wouldn't hear it, which is great. Um, what I want to see. Oh yeah, I want to see that purple one on ASRock's site. The products motherboard. Um, Let me see. It's a mixer. I don't know if it's a 690 or 790. I can't remember. What do you mean? No data. Oh, maybe because I'm on the subdomain. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go back to asrock.com. But also have 7.1 on the motherboard. Yeah, good for you. I'm just like a stereo loser. I used to use 5.1, but now I'm just stereo speakers, man. I had to roll back my life, man. I'm a poor man. All right, let me just start at the vanilla site. I want to see that mixer motherboard. Oh, I see. I want this. Where is this? I'll look for the motherboard in a second, but I'll show you this graphics card that I would love to have this. I like this. It looks like it has a traditional heatsink. It doesn't have one of those defective vapor chambers that is going to get them all recalled. But I don't know. Oh, come on, these aren't loading these pictures. This looks like it's well built. I would love to see a review on this to see if this cooler it keeps it tame enough for me to have a hotspot and GPU temperature that I can live with. Yes, after switching from 2.0 to 5.0, it is a huge change in games depending on where this. Yep, you don't have to tell me, man. I miss my 5.1 setup, but now I live in a place where I'm a renter, so I can't just like start drilling into walls and putting the 5.1s wherever I want. So I just keep it simple. Yeah, this I would love to have one of these. Like I said, I would love to see a review on it first. I don't like to buy in the dark, but I would love. I I'm sorry, man. Nvidia's too stingy with RAM. They're too stingy with RAM. I don't want to get a modern video card that only has 12 gigs of RAM, or you're gonna pay over $1,000 for a video card that has 16 gigs of RAM. Get out of here. This is like 2023 now. I want at least 16 gigs, and it's got to be cheap if it has 16 gigs. So if I'm gonna pay more than $500 and don't start getting close in the upper hundreds, I want 24 gigs of RAM. Um, but yeah, man, I like that card again. Let me go see if I can find the Intel version of the mixer. Feel dumb that I haven't found it already. Let's see. Categories. Isn't Mixer one of the categories? No. Creator? That might be it. No, that's not it. Uh, what's the latest? What if I search live? Oh, here it is right here. I found it. Come on, man. What looks better? This purple one or the orange one? The Z790 for Intel or the B650 for AMD? I would take the purple one. Only this is AMD. It will have to work, for example, in games 2 times as much as NVIDIA. Yes, ASRock doesn't make NVIDIA cards, and I kind of have a little respect for them about that. Yeah, I agree. The left is better because I always wanted to have a Lamborghini Murcielago. Let me show you what a Lamborghini Murcielago looks like. Lamborghini. Come on, man. You're not gonna autocomplete for me? All right. A Lamborghini Murcielago. I always wanted to get one of these. Of course, I'm poor. It's just me imagining, right? But I always wanted to have one of those with the Skywarp color scheme. My car, oh, I got a Honda Civic. I have some of my videos show where it got hit, so you can see my cheap car in some of my other videos. Um, but I always wanted that. I'm poor. No, I wish I had one of these. I will never be able to afford this, and all the money I've made in my life, I wouldn't be able to afford this. But I always dreamed of having one that had the same uh where's that purple key? Did I already lose it? Oh yeah. So like purple and black, there's a toy from my childhood. It's a transformer. I always liked that purple and black color scheme. So I was like, man, I would love to have my favorite car with that color scheme on the car, black and purple. That would be nice. I prefer GT500 Shelby. Well, now I gotta look that up. Let me look that up. I have too many tabs open. My OCDs. Let me see. Let me do a little copy and paste in here. GT500 Shelby 2013. Oh, that looks like a muscle car. Shelby. Why does that look like? Almost looks like a Man, they look similar. Does Ford and Shelby are two different things? I'm so confused. Oh, Ford makes the Shelby. All right, I'm an idiot. I got it now. I'm sorry about that. I got it now. Yeah, that thing looks butch. Yeah, I guess it's crazy. You live in Europe and you got an eye for an American style car, and I live in the United States and I got my I got my eye on a European style car. I love Lamborghini Murcielagos. I think they're beautiful. They are good. But the new electric one that came out is a Mustang Massacre. What do you mean by that? In a good way? What does it have, like crazy torque? Or in a bad way? Mustang Massacre. New electric one. I also like the Murcielago, the Gallardo. Okay, yeah. But the Gallardo doesn't have scissor doors. Buy a Lamborghini and not have scissor doors? Come on, man. That's like the Huracan. The Huracan came out and it's a sharp looking car, and I've seen him in person. I got pictures of my son uh, on. You should get my program that I made when it's done. Um, I'm gonna upload it on one of my channels. Let me see if I can give you a little preview here. It's almost done. I'm just trying to dress it up a little bit. Let me see what I got it. It's just a little utility, nothing special. Let me run it. Got a picture of my son next to a Lamborghini on here. Let me see if I can put it up. Let me find him. Searching. Ah, I found them. All right, yeah. So this is my little utility to just shut down your computer. I don't have any programming skills, but somebody um, kind of talked me into giving it a try. So I made this utility because I had a batch file that I had for shutting down the computer at different times. For son, he prefers to buy a toy. He will surely be happy. My son likes Pokemon cards. I got him a lot of Pokemon cards for Christmas. In fact, I got 3 more packs of Pokemon cards waiting on the steps for him when he comes. So, got Pokemon cards waiting for you, little dude. But yeah, this program here, I got all these little gifts in here that you can go through. I got different pictures from like this is a Crash Project. He's and I got another one of his images. He's a YouTuber, a gaming YouTuber. He's my first subscriber to my channel, so I have his logo in the in my little program here. But yeah, I just got some gifts that you could scroll through. It has other little stupid features like I'm not going to click it because I'm streaming right now. It'll turn on a blank screensaver, turn your displays dark if you want, uh, stupid stuff like that. You can open the console to see what's going on, and you could scroll through the different gifts if you're bored. But anyway, I'm gonna finish that and I'll update that. Yeah, yeah. We were talking about integrating something from his YouTube channel into the program, and I was like, hey man, it doesn't have to be a static image because he sent me a static image. I was like, you can give me something animated too. So he gave me that animated one, and I put it in there because it's all GIFs, so I can have everything animated in there. So I've just been like, life's so hard. So I should have been done with that like a year ago, but I'm still not done with it. But it's close to the end. So one of my videos will have a download link, just like to play where you go to download the drivers. I have a link where you could go download that utility, and I just made it for fun because I've never made a utility before. And maybe, hopefully, now that I have this one under my belt, maybe I'll make something that actually does something useful in the future. It'll never be anything too complex because I'm too stupid, but I'll give it a try, right? We live life to get out of our comfort zone a little bit sometimes. Give it a try. It doesn't, you don't have to be the best at everything. Just give it a try. Life's to be happy. That's what I tell my son. I always ask him, and he always gets the question wrong, the answer wrong. I say, and I do this to him every time I see him. I say, he doesn't live with me, my son. I say, what do you want to be when you grow up? He goes, he starts thinking, I don't know, a doctor? I don't know. What do you want me to be? I'm like, not what I want you to be. What do you want to be when you grow up? And then he keeps thinking. I was like, you're supposed to be happy when you grow up. That's it. That's the most important thing. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you got to pay the bills and all that stuff. But the goal is to, that's what we live life for, to be happy. Not to be a doctor, not to do this, not to do that, to be happy. Thanks for the Real Tech Update, and I look forward to more as they come. Yeah, man, with that, I'll wrap it up, man. I'll just babbling and babbling, taking up a lot of your time. But yeah, man, I had one viewer. I haven't live streamed in a long time, so I don't blame anybody for not coming to check it out. But I mainly just wanted to say my 2 cents about the AM5 stuff that I'm thinking about getting. And I have a viewer named James Brock who watches, and based on what I said, he'll probably leave a comment like that's a dumb idea or that's a great idea. So I get some feedback from him. He always gives me constructive feedback. So I'll see what he says. And I got to see what you said. But yo, thanks for talking to me, man. I'll turn this off right now. And yep, I hope you have a good night, man. Shout out to Poland from United States. Yeah, yep. I'll do it every once in a while. But all right, man. You have a good night. I'm gonna cut this off now.